podcast. It is your host, the_truth 1987. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Miller. Miller, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in with us on this brand new week here in July. Thank you so much for listening in. We're gonna get right into it. Got a big show for you today. A lot to talk about. And of course, a lot of smoke. My co-host is already starting. But thank you so much, everyone. We are going to start off by telling you a little bit about us. If it's your first time listening with us, thank you so much. We are here every Monday from 10 to 11 a.m. on JQLM Radio. We are also on Spotify, Anchor.fm at the Morning Smoke Podcast, and our most important pages, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube at the Morning Smoke Podcast. Definitely go out and enjoy us there. The majority of our content is there. Definitely support. We greatly appreciate it. But we're going back into the regular rotation. Current events is our first segment, is what we like to go into and tell you kind of what's going on in the world today. But before I do that, I'm going to give it over to my very smoky co-host, Mr. Milo Miller. How are you today, sir?
Are you ready to go? Are we good? Or we on air? What's up?
I mean, it's your show. I'm just here. I'm just the.
I mean, I just been waiting on you. I was just asking.
I'm just the help, as I've been told. So, it's your show.
It's a good in the show business. That's what we call a good segue, because we're gonna talk about the help. Soon, coming up, it is July 4th, Independence Day.
Correct.
So speaking of the help, let's talk about who that really wasn't for.
Well, let me get myself together. I know what this is about to be, a bashing of the 4th. Okay, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
No. Bashing? How about actual history lessons? This is what they ain't teach you. They want to, they trying to ban from the history books, critical race theory. You know what I mean? Like different things.
Stay woke, y'all.
All I'm going to say is that July 4th, 1776 was the declaration made public around the world, the freedom of the 13 North American colonies from Great Britain. Except there was one big problem. People like you and me, majority anyway, we're not free. We were still in bondage. We weren't in bondage under King George, but we were in bondage under Uncle Sam. And so, co-host, a few weeks back, we talked about Juneteenth. People celebrate. That's what marks when the last slavery was done away with in the United States. Last little outpost over in Texas. And so I don't know, man. July 4th, 1776. Don't hold as much weight for me the more that you learn. I was talking with my wife on it, and I think it holds even less weight. What's made it me more knowledgeable was the Trump era. A lot of those people came out the woodwork. He made racism great again. People were no longer scared. They weren't covert with it. They were outward. And we've seen a rise in various things racial related. And so, I don't know, man. It's been kind of crazy. I don't know what your thoughts is on how you still handle the 4th, but my daughter texts me, hey, are we doing anything on the 4th? I know we're not celebrating it, but are we going to do anything when we get together? One of my older daughters texts me that. Said, you know me. Maybe we'll go to a pool or something, but we ain't doing nothing, real. That's how my family has learned and molded and shaped themselves here as of late around the 4th. What about you, co-host?
Well, I think for any holiday for me, at the end of the day, at the core of it is about family. So it's time off from work. It's time that I don't have to give to Uncle Sam, which is the one that says that we're free on that particular day. So I use that time to be with family if I can. So on this particular 4th, I know my family will be getting together, just, to enjoy each other's time, things of that nature, and kind of go from there. So, but I mean, for me,
you're going to spit in the face of your ancestors.
Listen to what I'm saying.
When they couldn't celebrate with their family, they were split apart and sold, and But go
So
ahead. Never mind. Keep going.
so let me ask you this. We're free today, right? So we're free today. This is what we are. We're free today, right? So you want to celebrate by
If you want to
being
call this
no, no,
freedom,
no, no,
you
no.
know,
I'm just saying you have
I'm
hold
surrounded
up,
by
hold up.
tyranny.
Can you let me finish?
Well, I'm answering the question. I don't know what to tell you.
I didn't even give a question to answer. You're answering
It
before I can
started
even
off
give
shaky. That question started off shaky.
it. Anyways, um, you're free from work today. You're free from any other obligations per se outside of your normal realm of day to day. Why would you want to spend that being bound in slavery? I don't want to do that. So no, I'm not going to go be bound in slavery because we actually are free to not do that. We're free to,
You
that's
know,
the
we're
world.
not celebrating
That's
freedom
the
today with the
but that's the
holiday. We're
but that's
celebrating July 4th, 1776,
well I,
America's birthday.
well guess what?
That's what the date is.
But you heard what I said that I'm doing for this holiday
Yeah,
because
well,
I
you
have
go
a
ahead and
free
wear
time.
those red, white, and blue
No,
stripes
no,
and
I don't.
enjoy
No,
those
I don't.
stars
I actually
and,
don't.
and,
But I don't.
and you serve your Uncle Sam.
You currently have on red right now. I have on black. So what's up?
Oh, this is maroon with a yellow stripe on it. What's
It,
up, baby?
hey, yeah, you got red though. Ain't it a shade of red? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
hey, what's
Oh,
up,
all
baby?
right, all right,
Today ain't the 4th, but
okay.
tomorrow you're gonna be
You
collecting taxes.
so it looks like you in pre-celebration. So what's up?
Shit.
What's
Go
up?
ahead and enjoy it with your family. Spit in the face of those ancestors who could.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
you don't get together with your family tomorrow. How about that? Don't see none of them.
Regular
Hey,
day.
don't see none of them.
Regular
Hey,
day for us.
don't see none of them. Just
You
leave out
talked
the
about celebrating the holiday
matter of fact. I said celebrate my family if you would listen, but
on the holiday.
but because I'm off, yes.
Because that's what the holiday means for
I tell
you.
you right now, you go outside, you get in your car, and you just drive around. Don't see no family. Don't do none of that. Matter of fact, don't even drive. Walk because if you want to really keep it 100, you want to be PC. If you want to, be politically correct, woke. Just go walk in the street with no shoes on. How about that? Just go do all that. Go do all of that. Exactly. Anyways, do you have anything else before you want to continue to be smoky today?
I will quote because America, my co-host, is. I really would go into this.
Just
I
move to
just want to
Canada.
say,
Just move
fan
to
of the
Canada.
show, Will, you were right.
Just
He
move.
is.
Just move to Canada.
Will, you were right. He
Move.
is.
You could
Yeah.
just move. You could just move to Canada. You can move to
Now,
Canada.
I'm gonna end with this. That's exactly what they say. Love it or leave it.
Move to
Love it or
Canada.
leave it, buddy.
I'm just saying, move to Canada.
Love it or leave it.
If it's that bad, move. It's really that simple.
Instead of making it right and acknowledge, see, my co-host ain't about accountability. I am. Instead of acknowledging the wrong, y'all just love it or leave it, buddy.
Nah,
Now,
because I told you
I
how I
will
celebrate.
quote a man greater than you,
Okay,
Frederick Douglass. Is that okay for you? Can I quote Frederick Douglass?
it's your show. I'm just here.
He gave a speech July 5th, 1852. What to the slave is the 4th of July?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You're right.
He said the 4th of July is a day that reveals to him more than any other day of the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which many are a constant victim. They weren't celebrating July 4th of 1852 on that holiday the day before this speech. They were celebrating the same as people do today, July 4th, 1776. And if you're going to celebrate that day, you better acknowledge what time it is. And I'm with you, Mr. Frederick Douglass. I'm not with my co-host.
Did I say I was celebrating the holiday though?
So I look,
Did I say that?
as my boy Farrakhan said, you be quiet.
I just
You
want to know.
should be quiet.
Did I say I was celebrating the holiday? That's all I want to know. Did I
Yeah, you
say that?
did.
When
We're
I
roll
say that?
back the tape.
No,
I
when
mean,
I
you
say that?
guys might not hear it, America, because he gonna
No,
edit
what?
it out.
No. When did I say that? When did I say I was
Look,
celebrating
I don't spend
the
enough
holiday?
time on this. I don't spend
Oh,
enough time on
okay.
this. What I
You're right.
like to do,
You're
if
right.
it's okay with you,
You're right. You're right.
Massa, if it's okay with you,
You're right.
let's talk about another holiday.
You lighter than me.
I'm gonna talk about another holiday. Yeah, well, it seems I'm blacker inside. Um, can we talk about another holiday? Is that
That's
okay?
that's diabetes, not because. Never mind. Keep going. Keep going.
We had a recent holiday, a couple weeks back, Father's Day.
Yes, we did.
Um, I don't know how you celebrate. What you do on Father's Day, man? We'll start with your experience.
Well, this year it was actually really special. I celebrated it as a father figure, if you will, this year. I've said multiple times on the show that we've been kind of in contact with, our family member, our niece, me and my wife. So we happened to have her this past Father's Day, and they celebrated me as a father figure. So we actually went out and did some things, and they got me some stuff, and it was really special. Really special. That's how I celebrated it this year. Obviously, my father is not with me anymore, so that's always, in the back of my mind and things of the nature. This is actually the second year. Um, it's real fresh still. So, definitely it was good to have, somebody celebrate me on that day and also celebrate my own dad and things of that nature. So yep, that's what I did. What did you do, sir?
You know what? My wife created a relaxation area. I was in the had feet in the hot, bubbly water foot massage type spa, right? I bought that for her years back, and she set it up for me. I bought my wife a hand massager. You just put your hands in it. So she put that there. I
Mm-hmm.
bought her this thing you put over her face. It's an eye massager with heat and rotation and all that, with lovely little sounds. That, and she set that up for me. I bought her actually this past Mother's Day I added to the collection of relaxation a back massager, a heated and whole stimulation deal, right? The neck and the back, and she put that up. She set that up for me. She gave me a nice, relaxation treatment, and so I really enjoyed that. She gave me several gifts and stuff like that, so I appreciated it. One of the highlights was a neck fan. I never really, you put it around your neck. That thing, well, that real deal right there. It actually cools you and feels good. Look. I'm bringing it to y'all first because Tech Corner ain't covered. So
It's a reason for that, but I'll go into
I don't
that
want to
later.
be I don't want to be rudely interrupted. And then because I didn't interrupt you and your followers. And so with with that being said, my daughter Deja, she took me out to a Yummy Bowl. It's a little Oriental spot. I don't know if you can say that word anymore, but a little Asian spot. You know, that you can build your ingredients. They make it for you. They serve it to you. It's good stuff. It was great. It's delicious. We went out to lunch, spent some time together, talked, laughed, caught up, and then my other daughter Jada, she took me out on the canal. We got some donuts, milk, had a little picnic out there. It was relaxing. Have a good time. It's just good times. And then we got together a little bit later in the week because of schedules and kids and different things like that. Um, we all got together and celebrated again. Got a few other gifts. So I'm just excited, man, to be celebrated and loved for you know Father's Day. It means a lot. I never had a mother growing up. I was raised by my father. I was one of those, what do you want to grow up and be? You want to be an astronaut? You want to be a basketball player? You want to be a fireman? Which I just wanted to be a father, and I added to it because I wanted to be better than what I had. I said I also want to be a husband. I want to give that stability and that consistency that I didn't see around me that I enjoyed, right? But
Yeah.
but I was missing out. I didn't have that family around me. I just had my dad. And so I wanted the whole shebang for my kids, and I've tried my best to meet up with that, despite life fighting me along the way. But that's what I did, man. I don't know. Like you said, you lost your dad a couple years back. I lost mine back in 2003. And when I say it gets easier, it does. But there are moments. There are moments when you, as a man, you don't always tell the world your problems. You don't always share
Mm-hmm.
certain trials or tribulations, just from the nature of being a man. We're meant to be the protectors, the rock, the stability, the strength of the family, the backbone, right? And a lot of times of the world don't care about our problems.
True.
And so There are times I think about my own father. I'd be like, I know if he was here, you. They say, where? What should a man? Who should a man talk to? Who should release it to? It should be your guys. It should be within your brethren, your brotherhood of men of um, similar, status around you, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
peers. And
Mm-hmm.
so I know if my dad was here, the things he would say or give, and I miss that. The things I never had as an adult, but I miss what I never had. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know, Coles. Any other floor is yours, man. What I mean, we got. I'm gonna turn it over to you. I know these kind of things. Life is real complicated.
Yeah. Two things real quick. Number one, so it sounds like you got a lot of reused gifts. That's another topic for another day. We'll talk about that later. Um, so that's number one. Number two, this is what what I'm gonna use the words of my co-host. When it comes to Father's Day, this is what the show would like to call a segue into parenthood, right? So obviously, you receive the things as a father, and I'm curious to because it's kind of been a running theme this past week for me. Um, what would you consider fatherhood? Let's just start there, for example.
It's complicated, but generally there
Mm-hmm.
are always things that be included around the fringe. But generally, it's a man that accepts responsibility that's put upon him, and he takes that burden seriously, and he's in this role of father, and he's doing everything he can to make that. Doesn't matter if you make mistakes. Doesn't matter if you're right, wrong, or indifferent. But he's doing everything that he can to see that blossom,
Mm-hmm.
that effort, and that what you're putting into it, whatever that son, daughter, whatever, blossom into something better than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think if a person, even if they are in that capacity, if they don't meet that, to me, then you're not embracing fatherhood.
Yeah.
You're not doing so. That's like I say, there's some fringe things around there because everything's not easy, but that's what it is for me.
No, that's a great comment. Because one thing you did not mention, you didn't mention birth. You didn't
No,
mention you didn't
no,
mention anything like that.
nope.
Which is why I love the answer because a lot of people, like I said, this has been a running theme. A lot of people feel like when it comes to fatherhood or parenthood, for that matter, the thing that makes you the parent or whatever is birth, and that's so far from the truth. Only because there are so many people that can have, and there's some people that can't, but most people can produce an offspring, if you will. If you do it, no medical issues or anything of that nature. A man and woman get together, stuff happens, you can have a kid. I mean, it's not complicated, for that to happen. But it takes special people to be a parent and to accept the role of a father or mother. And not going into any specifics or anything of that nature. That's why I guess this year was so special for me. I've been in a role where I didn't actually ask for this role. I didn't go out and search this role. I didn't do anything according to being a father figure, what you will. But the role was presented before me. I could have been like any other, statistical, since we're talking from the black experience, I could be any other statistical black male, and say, hey, you know what? Ain't my kid. Or if it is my kid, I'm not stepping up to the role. I'm not doing it. I'm not making it happen. But, I was happy to step up to a role where I could be a child's father figure, if you will. So, I guess for me that kind of rubs me the wrong way is when people like to throw that in a person's face, when it comes to being a father. What, you didn't have them, they're not yours. Well, that's biologically, yes, you're absolutely correct. I did not have them, but fatherhood is much more than just having a kid biologically. It takes nurturing, it takes instruction, it takes finances, emotionally, socially. It takes a whole lot that goes into being a fatherhood. And I just wish that a lot of, especially our younger people, I wish a lot of our younger people would understand that. Because if a lot of people would step up to the plate as they should, um, the world would be a much better place. I think it would be a much better place. A lot of things would be, not as the way that they are right now, and it wouldn't take someone else to step up in your role. If you fulfill your role, nobody else has to step into that role. No one has to feel a need because you're doing what you're supposed to do. But a lot of people don't do that, and then it's just a crazy world, man. When it comes to how people think about parenthood and things of that nature, and I get that a lot. Like not even just only from myself, but just hearing it. A lot of people really feel like that the biological aspect of a parent is the only thing that matters when it comes to being a parent. So it's just funny to me. I guess that's the reason why I asked you a question. You're coming from both worlds. You've had them, and you've also had children that are not that you didn't have. Obviously, you have children that didn't come from you, but you treat them all the same. You treat them all on the same role. You treat them exactly as if they were yours, and things of that nature, because that doesn't matter to you. You know what I mean? So, and I feel the same way. I'm the exact same way. It doesn't matter to me. So I was just, curious, and like I said, it was interesting you picked Father's Day today, to talk about Father's Day. Cause like I said, this has been a real running theme this past week. So I just thought that was really interesting.
I think I've heard. I never entertain jokes or comments. Sometimes my girls that I didn't have them from birth,
Mm-hmm.
they will call me dad. They'll call me Michael. They'll call me different things. I've heard little comments here and there. I
Yep.
always just skip past them, never entertain or fuel that.
Yeah.
Because I understand what it is for me now and what it is for them. Um, I think you're in a unique situation, and I want to take you back to when this kind of started this journey for
Mm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first things I started talking to you about was what's this going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first things I talked to you about was kind of paperwork's going to be in place. How official is this going to be?
Mm-hmm.
Because in your situation, um, without certain protections in place or routes that you may take, it all could come crumbling down
Mm-hmm.
and be snatched away from you.
Mm-hmm.
So some could say, oh, well, if you're married to someone, your stepkids. I never use step. This first time
Right.
you probably even. I'm just
Yeah.
using it for this conversation in this
I got you.
show.
I got you.
They're just my kids, but stepkids can be taken from you.
Mm-hmm.
I done put in a decade plus. I'm here. I'm stable. And I think if something were to happen, um, I'm still going to be dad.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is though, from a society standpoint, I'm in a father role, but I'm married into it. I'm actually even at worst called a stepdad. I think in your situation, you don't have those kind of norms in society, and I think people may look at this in a certain light. And I'm sure it can be understanding from that perspective. We add in nobody's business per se, but we add in the fact that little girl over time, younger child, call you dad.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are gonna take offense to that
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't taken the steps all the way. And it could be confusing if that all comes crumbling down and gets snatched away from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because we don't always share every single event or step in the process to everybody, who knows? I have no clue because I said my piece up front to you as a friend. You recall the conversation?
I do. I do.
It wasn't just kumbaya. It was me setting it
It
straight
was
with
it
you.
was a conversation, right?
I said my piece to you about, hey, this could be real because I had people that my dad had brought in my life throughout the years wanting to just step into that mother role and then they gone and they
Right.
don't fulfill that, right? So I felt pain throughout my life regarding this type of situation. So that's why I take my role very seriously, whether something happens between me and the girls' mothers or not. They're all adults now. I'm going to
Right.
have a relationship with them minus her if it came down to it, because and I'm not going to waver from that, even if it takes work, even if it's because I know what it's like where people give up on you. I'm like, how'd you ever take that role?
Right. Exactly.
Confusing. So, co-host, I want you to understand when we talk about fatherhood, I embrace you in that conversation as far as a celebration because of my definition of fatherhood. Some people, like you pointed out, are more narrow sighted in that regard, but I think they don't view it as just a birth because some people take on other people's kids.
Correct.
And so, it through marriage and various things, and we know people that are like, I'm not exclusive to this, right? And I'm sure they wouldn't say, oh, this woman's less of a mother because, or less of a father, blah, blah, blah. But I think
No.
it's in your unique role. I
Yeah.
think people view you as Uncle John, and they're hearing you be called Dad, and this is your daughter. People just got their opinions, right, wrong, and different.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
mean,
Absolutely.
we have the floor open. This is a serious conversation. We'll take a few minutes. What is? I mean, respond back to what I'm saying and how people could have concerns in that regard. I'm curious your thoughts on that 'cause this ain't a conversation people probably confront you with.
Nah. I mean, well, yeah, they do, but um, I guess for me, it doesn't really matter to me per se. I mean, obviously, I understand the concern. Obviously, I understand the opinions and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, that never is a concern of mine because it's how it's being presented to me. It's not one of the. It'd be different if I was like the type of person that's going out and saying, "Hey, I want to be this to this person. I want to be this to this little girl. I want to, this, that, and the other." I've never done any of that. I've never ever put myself in a position where um, I'm demanding her to call me dad. I've always just been me.
But
And
have you rejected it? Like I'm Uncle John,
I have at times. Yes, I have. Yes.
but
Um,
you just at some point along that way it changed for you because you embrace it now.
exactly. Yep.
Break that down for me real quick. I mean, because I think some people, this is people's objection. They were like, "Hey, why don't you stick with Uncle John?"
Well, because the role is different. Being an uncle versus being a dad is two different things. The role changed. At first it was just, oh, come over to Uncle John's house and have fun, la, go back to your parents. Boom. That changed. It started becoming, this person's living with me now. This person has an area in my house. This person has, this, that, and the other. We're doing this, that, and the other for this child. We're now nurturing this kid. We're now watching this kid step for the first time. We're now watching this person. We're doing the things as a mother or father would do. So the role changed. It wasn't because I changed, but the role itself changed. So,
I understand. So what about, black people are very tied into our culture, have certain iconic figures. We're
yep,
talking about Uncle Phil,
yep,
Uncle Bernie.
yep,
We grew up with some of these figures that weren't fathers because you had to put shows on there where fathers wasn't present for
exactly,
some black people to embrace it because not everybody had their father in their life, right?
exactly,
A stereotype, but it's buried in some truth.
yep.
So what those people remained Uncle Phil, Uncle Bernie. You ever think that maybe that should have been the route, considering the deeper circumstances of your situation, despite the role?
It could have, however, in those particular instances, especially with Bernie Mac, it's funny. I just watched all of his shows not too long ago. Um, there were times where there's actually one episode in particular with Wanda. She was basically feeling a certain way because she took her family to a retreat. She's seeing all these families around, things of that nature, having that, mother father type experience with their kids. And she, came out and basically said that she took them to this retreat because she wanted to experience that. She wanted to, she feels like she's their mother. Natural, response or whatever. The kids come back and say, the oldest, Vanessa, she says, "Well, you're not my mom." And that, it hurt her. But Vanessa had to come back and apologize because she said, "Hey, you are like my mom, even though you're not mom, but you're like my mom." So um, even the acknowledgement is fine, but I like I said, for me, it's not titles for me per se. Even if she called me Uncle John to this day, I would be fine with it. It's not anything that I'm just like solely set on is dad. The thing that I look forward to is what is she seeing me as, and fortunately, she sees me as the father figure. So, and because of that, I'm willing to step into that role, regardless if the title is dad or Uncle John. So,
Make sure you get the floor to voice some of these things that could be out there, right? Lastly, and then we'll move forward because this is an important topic.
Yeah.
Lastly, what are you taking steps to? I don't pry until
things.
This is not for the show, people.
No, you're fine.
I talk with them every day because how many times am I the last one to know something? I just tend to. Well, if I find something out, I'm gonna tell you my mind on it, right?
Right.
So I don't necessarily sometimes just be all up in the business. So I have no clue.
Yeah.
Are you taking steps? Is this temporary? What is the long-term play here?
So my long term, as well as my wife, long term is to have her here. That's the long term. So yes, there are things that are being worked on to see if that transpires or not. Obviously, we are in a position where we want to do it in order. I guess that's the best way to put it. Obviously, we both have families. We both have different things of that nature. The last thing we want to do is cause any type of confusion or rift within our family. But it just depends on the route that's being taken, what roles are being presented, and what's offered out there. But I mean, the ultimate goal is we want to hear it full time. So permanently. So
all right. Well, anything else you got on your chest, man? I want to make sure we good.
Oh no, we good, man.
I asked some of the tough questions that may be out there.
No, that's cool. That's good.